So, and we will get into processes a little bit and workflow, just so everyone can kind of understand, when a new customer does come on with full throttle, like how does that first domino tip? And then what happens after that? But you mentioned your team. Why don't you just talk about, you have several departments that are kind of part of your team, right? So why don't you just talk about, you talked about implementation, client service, customer success. Why don't you just talk about each one of your team? And then let's talk about like sort of what each of what those people need to have as far as a background, a mindset, what makes those people in each one of those departments successful in what they're doing every day.
So sure. So let's talk about the department. So what we would say is our structure is integration. All right. So integration is really about the touch point between the sale and the intake. All right. That's what that's about. And so that team is made up of client facing personalities, people who are able to interface with customers, talk about technology, help the customer understand how the solution actually solves a problem, not just how the technology works. So it's really about what are we doing to deliver results to an end customer. And so really that kind of personality has, like I mentioned, that really customer facing disposition. They're definitely an outgoing type, highly analytical. All right. Problem solving is an extremely critical component of the job and of all the roles. All right. Critical thinking is highly sought after, because a lot of times we have to read between the lines to make things come together. So when you're talking about integration, you're talking about that. And then what we do is we align those teams based on revenue streams in. So client types, opportunity types, that way that we could have the right kind of people handling to handhold or white glove treatment a customer from intake through that process. Now, if we flip the coin over and look at optimization is really about helping to expedite that lifetime value about the customer. So it's not just once they're in, now it's about supercharging that tool so that we deliver those hyper focused results. All right. And so this group here is much more technically sound, technically minded. So they're looking more at code bases and things of that nature. They're looking at how the technology actually works together with the customer in real life. But they're really behind the scenes deconstructing, the software in and of itself. And so that group can talk technical, but then they can break technical phrase and terminology down to client speak. All right. I would have to say this group has a high sleuthing tendency. So they're really about being able to find what's not so obvious to ensure that we're getting the most out. And then this group also takes the learnings from integration and it allows them to deliver back solutions that help to grow the overall value to the customer. And that's how we get to that lifetime value more quickly. So that's really what the teams are comprised of. And those are some of the core things that I think are necessary to really be successful. I could go into all the standard ones, but really those are the high level things that a person within integration, optimization, within revenue ops has to have to really be successful.